3 years after a Norfolk Southern train carrying toxic chemicals derailed in East Palestine, Ohio, a 5-year human health study is now underway to examine the potential impacts of that derailment and subsequent controlled burn. Funded by the NIH under Secretary Kennedy's leadership, the study is being conducted by researchers from the University of Kentucky, the University of Pittsburgh, and Yale University. Earlier this month, the study was officially launched, and Jill and I attended the 2-day event. We were there not only to document it, but because we've quietly spent months supporting the Yale team, led by Dr. Nicole Diesel, who you may remember from some of our interviews last year, as they designed the study and secured the grant. We will continue working alongside them as the research moves forward. In this episode, you'll hear moments from those 2 days woven into a conversation as we reflect on the study, what it is, what it isn't, and what it could mean going forward.
3 years ago, our community was going about its everyday life when a train derailment set off a chain of impacts that East Palestine and the neighboring communities are still navigating today. What followed was not just an environmental disaster, but months, even years, of uncertainty, fear, and unanswered questions. Questions about our health, our safety, and our future.
So we were in East Palestine last week, Stuart, and it was the launch of the East Palestine Train Derailment Health Study, funded by the National Institute of Environmental Health Sciences, which I guess I should have known, but on the top of my head, it really wasn't there. So it was good to be reminded by Dr. Nicole Diesel, who we are part of her Yale water study in East Palestine, you and I, for Ohio Valley Allies. But she reminded me that it's a research agency, institute. Like their mandate is research. And you knew that, right?
Yeah. I guess what I didn't know was that the NIH, I didn't know that the NIH was an umbrella for like multiple institutes.
Me either.
So the institute that's funding this research is kind of under that umbrella of the NIH.
Right. Secretary Kennedy and the Department of Health, right? Yeah.
Yeah. And so this was kind of a long time coming. We've been sort of working on this in the background, helping the Yale team with Dr. Diesel sort of think through what the study should be. And this is kind of, so there was this like grant process where the NIH was looking for researchers to come to the table with ideas on how to study potential long-term impacts from the derailment. And they ended up choosing 3 research teams, one from the University of Kentucky, one from the University of Pittsburgh, and one from Yale. And so because of our relationship with Nicole Diesel, we were kind of helping as, I guess you could say we were like advisors.
Community advisors,
right?
Yeah.
Because of our connection to the community in the area. So we kind of helped them devise the study, and her study actually, what she proposed got sort of pared down. So
greatly, yeah.
Now she's the Yale team's basically focused on the water, and they want to develop a model that can show potentially where contamination from the train derailment would have most likely traveled in the groundwater system. And then the other 2 universities are doing more like medical health testing and surveying and things. And it's exciting. I'm glad that it's happening. But what are your thoughts on it?
My thoughts are, it's been 3 years, and this research is necessary and needed, but it's just one part of what is needed, one piece. And they need help. People there need and deserve health coverage. There's so many questions still unanswered. And so my thought is, can't we find somewhere, some way, somehow to get the people what they need right now, which is, yes, they want, the health study is important, and I'm grateful to be a part of it. And I'm really encouraged by the team that EHS brought together. I have total confidence in the team to do this research to the best of their ability, and to have the community concerns at the core of that, and to investigate the issues of their greatest concern. But I also think praying, find a way to get the people health coverage that need it now. And as far as the other element of the next level is, they want those who want to relocate. I mean, like, why can't they just force the Norfolk Southern?
Yeah, there's a lot there that we could get into. And I think a lot of that drives a lot of the distrust. And that distrust is going to be a big hurdle, because like for this health study to work, people have to participate. Not just people in East Palestine, but I think it's a 50-mile radius around East Palestine. They want people to participate in this study.
50 miles?
I think so. Maybe that was the original plan. Maybe it was closed down a little bit. But there's a significant area around East Palestine that they're trying to get people to participate in this study, whether they have symptoms or not. And the study's only going to be as good as the participation, because, right, they need to get data.
Like, it has a comparison population. So, because a lot of people are bringing up COVID and aging, and, there's all these other confounding variables, but this comparison population will have gone through all those same things over time, but didn't have the derailment. They may have other exposures, but then they're also compared to like statewide averages, and just see, are these rates higher than what we would expect just from aging, or just from whatever, COVID or something like that.
Part of it is going to be surveys. Part of it is going to be actual like medical testing and ongoing monitoring. And the only way that a study like that works is with participation. But the biggest hurdle for that is going to be that a lot of the people who you want to participate have lost faith and trust in these kinds of things because of how it was handled or mishandled, after the accident.
That's one point that Kyle Walsh made, who is the director for the NIEHS.
Mm-hmm.
He was there. I appreciate his sincerity, his concern, his attentiveness, and, some of the comments he made, which was, we're not the EPA, we're not the CDC, and that they've also been funding research since the derailment happened.
My name is Kyle, and I have been the director of the National Institute of Environmental Health Sciences since October. Before that, I was a faculty researcher at Duke University, where I worked on cancer epidemiology, neuroepidemiology, really how genetics and the environment work together to influence brain health. I grew up, I checked actually on Google Maps just a moment ago, 63 miles from here. And so, this is really very meaningful to me, both personally and in my role as the director of the National Institute of Environmental Health Sciences. So NIEHS has funded 6 research projects over the past few years that were looking at the health state of residents in East Palestine and the surrounding areas. Though that work has really set the stage for what is being kicked off today.
One of the things I love about this project is that they have been sort of exhaustive in their reach out and trying to get the community involved in framing the study, like
right,
designing the study around the community's needs. And so they have, hosted events and reached out to individuals and different nonprofits in the area. And they've really tried, I think they've done about as much as you can possibly do to get their finger on the pulse of like what the community is most worried about, what answers they want, knowing that, the study is going to be limited by whatever funding is available.
Yes.
They can only do so much. So they were trying to really get a read on like, what are the priorities here that the community needs, not just us from the outside deciding what they need.
I was here all day yesterday, attended the community listening sessions, and I think that they really have made just incredible efforts to have their finger on the pulse of this community. These were sessions where investigators, the NIHS director, we sat and listened, right? We were not here to tell people what to worry about or what not to worry about.
And so I really like that they've done that. I think it's really important, and I think it should serve as like a model for all kinds of environmental research. Like, what does the community actually want?
The collective decision to have these listening sessions and to get the input from the community, like, great job, congratulations, to all of you for doing this the right way.
Oh, thank you. And I give all the credit to, Misty and Aaron. I thought they did a great job.
They really did.
And
for those people who are kind of detached from this event, there are a lot of health concerns, and a lot of people are experiencing symptoms. Still 3 years later. And some of the symptoms are fairly serious. I mean, you've got people who are like losing hair, cracking teeth. They are experiencing sort of ongoing nausea and fatigue and headaches. Vertigo. And
something with the eyes.
Yeah, there's like vision, like accelerating vision issues, retinal tears and things like that. Now, it doesn't mean that any of these are connected to the train derailment, but that's what the research is for, to try to figure out if there is some correlation. But what's important is that they've come to the community and they've listened and they've heard those testimonies, and I think that's just really important.
Absolutely. But I also think we should add that, they are going to give a stipend for people who participate. And they're making it pretty accessible by having the way station in East Palestine as a place where you can go to, I think, fill out the surveys, get help with it if you can't do it online. I mean, they have a resource center, which is great, a research headquarters, which I think was a really good move and plan.
Through this partnership, we can help the research process. We can help them focus on what the community really needs and not just what the researchers think we need. So I'm really excited about this. We have so many community members that want to take part in this. They want those answers. They know it's not going to be a quick fix, but they're happy that it's here. It's in town. It's where they can get to. That's very important to our residents.
And the mental health and stress, that's also a part of this, right?
Yeah. The mental health thing is, I think, probably underappreciated because, whether the train derailment made you sick or not, this event happened in your town and you've had all these unanswered questions about your kids' health and your pets lingering for 3 years. And like the stress and the anxiety that causes, people have had to relocate. People are afraid to drink their water. People are, nervous about going to the creek or fishing or going to the park. And you can easily sit from a distance and kind of judge that as being whatever. Overly paranoid or whatever it is. But the fact is that there are still people that are reporting smelling chemicals in the town. There are still places where that like rainbow colored sheen is showing up. And there are still people dealing with these symptoms. So it's like, you can't just dismiss the fear and the anxiety that is there, and I think that that's having very real mental health impact for people there.
Yeah, I was encouraged by the great representation, like I said, from NIH and the leadership there, also with the care and concern and sincerity as well by the research team. And there was a lot of researchers there. The University of Kentucky has a large team, and they all seemed engaged and, great.
Very, very like compassionate, like really
Yes.
caring. They were taking it very seriously. And I think all the researchers feel the sense that I got is that they all feel a sense of duty to do this right because of the people. It was funny because some of the researchers there told me kind of, in private conversation that like, this is not normal. Like they don't normally go to communities like this. You've got people who've been studying different facets of public health for years. And they said, we're working with human data all the time, but it's always on a computer. And so for some of them, I think this was like the first time that they've actually sat in a room with the people that they are researching, and seen like the actual human story side of it, And I think it was really powerful for them to be there too.
So good.
So I think they all have a sense of duty to do good science, like not just give people answers that they want to hear, but I think they feel a duty to do it well and do good work.
Thank you. I'm Juliana Bayer from the University of Pittsburgh Department of Medicine. I've been studying the health effects of vinyl chloride and other environmental chemicals for about 10 years now. And so when this derailment happened, I was immediately thinking, we need to help. We need to figure this out.
And so people can be frustrated that it's taken 3 years to get this. People can be frustrated that the EPA did that, or they didn't do this, or Norfolk Southern. But at the end of the day, this is the system we have, and this is the best shot I think you have of getting some kind of justice. Like you have to have the research to kind of back up the action.
And this is government funded research, so they can't deny it as easily, or at all. Can they? It's they funded it. So
yeah. So we'll see what happens. I'm proud of our involvement. And I'm glad that we've been able to do this. I feel because we're kind of close to East Palestine, I feel like it was kind of a moment for me because I just felt like this whole time I felt very helpless about it all.
Yes.
And now I feel like I was able to contribute in some small way to doing something there. And I'm looking forward to kind of continuing to do that. Because I think it's, like we had our concerns initially, but I think we're far enough away that I don't know. I shouldn't say that. I still have some concerns, but
because the plume hung over your house, your family and farm were impacted by the controlled burn, by the plume.
And I should say we've had health issues since the derailment too, and I just haven't really connected it. I've heard some other folks bring up some health issues that they've had since the derailment. I'm like, oh, that happened to me too, or that happened to so-and-so. So I guess I shouldn't say that I'm not concerned about it because I'm far away, but I feel like the people in that town got really, really screwed. And what happened to them was just very wrong.
Antonio Diaz here, lifelong resident of the East Palestine community, now village manager, coming in the wake of the derailment. When this happened to our community and the surrounding areas, I think everybody first went through a period of fear and concern. Like, what do I do in the immediate 2 days, 3 days? And now it's been 3 years. So our questions still remain, but they sort of change over time. And it's It's more like, what does it look like moving forward? And while I think I'd love to be in a position to give everybody answers on every one of their tactical questions today, I'm fully cognizant of the fact that research takes time. And so while, we look at this poster beside me and we say, hey, this research is going to take place, but what are the outputs? Today is important because the outputs will never exist if we don't do things like today. We are committed to this. I think 6 months ago, I wasn't sure exactly how our response was going to look, in the coming decade. But now it looks like full cooperation with all of the programs, all the community groups that are here. We had discussed earlier removing some of the confounding variables to the research too. So this is my commitment today that I think we need to move forward with East Palestine being the healthiest community we can possibly be, absent of whatever happened in the past.
And there hasn't been any. I mean, this research is a step towards justice, but it's a far cry from justice. I mean, maybe even some folks wouldn't even think it's part of justice at all, but it's something. And what do we have otherwise? Like they've got a class action lawsuit that, people might end up getting who knows how much. I don't know. It's just.
Yeah. And it says, I mean, look, however you feel about a certain politician or administration or whatever, however disillusioned you are with government, I think it's important when the government says, like, we hear you and we're going to do something.
Yes.
And so I think just that alone is it's a positive step in the right direction. Like the government has said, we think that this is important and we're going to fund some research. I don't think it's nearly enough. That's my personal opinion. I would have loved to see more of Nicole's full study funded because I thought she had some really powerful ideas, and I'm sure the other researchers also did. But research like this often is just a stepping stone to more, right? Like if they can start to show progress or I don't know what kind of metrics they use, but like this could lead to other funding down the road. We don't know, so I just think it's hard to be pessimistic about it. It's not enough. It's 3 years down the road, and that's all true. But I think at the end of the day, it's a positive that this is happening.
And I sure hope people participate.
I want to just use this moment to encourage you, to encourage your neighbors and yourselves to join us. We won't be able to have answers unless a lot of people join in. So let's go for 1,000. I mean, this is a town of about 5,000 people. Let's have everyone join in. We're recruiting children ages 8 and up.
Yeah, I really encourage people to participate, even if you don't feel like you've been affected, if you don't have symptoms. It doesn't really matter. Like it's data.
They need both.
Yeah. They have to have a complete set of data for this to mean anything. And so, everyone in that area, should participate in, or think about participating. We'll link, in the description of this episode, like I'll link the QR code and the website and all that.
Great. Yeah, I would say it was very moving, very heartbreaking, and hopeful only in the sense of it brought the issue back kind of, it was the 3-year anniversary, but then on that, at that 3-year mark where it might get some attention again, we had this other piece to say, hey, look, it can't hurt. What harm could be done by participating, and yeah, maybe that some people think the money for that research should have went into something else or helping people get what they need or relocate or healthcare, but like, that's just one piece. So let's figure out a way. Is there a way to get the other pieces, you know.
It's kind of like, you know, money has a tendency to attract more money.
Okay.
You know, so if you've got this piece and it's working, there's a higher probability that people can kind of coalesce around that. It's harder to get that first chunk of money. And so we got that far, and it's, you know, we just have to keep beating the drum. And the other thing is, this research will not just help people in East Palestine or the surrounding areas. It will also inform if this ever happens again. And you've got over 1,000 trains derailing in this country every year. So it's, I mean, I hate to say it, but it seems like statistically, it's only a matter of time before this happens again. You know, there's a lot of people out there working on making sure it doesn't, but this research can help inform what should be done. Because that was one of the things about this incident that was so frustrating, is that, like, it didn't seem like there was a protocol in place to deal with this. Exactly. It was just like they were flying by the seat of the pants trying to figure it out. That part of it is like totally unacceptable.
Yes.
And so hopefully this research will help, you know, move that ball forward too.
It's really frustrating. I was saying this to Stuart earlier. I just really feel frustrated that we, in this society, we've enabled all this amazing technology and growth, and I don't know, we have all this Amazon and Google, like, have all this data and information, and then, like, public health and environmental health is just, like, decades behind. You know, we haven't invested, we don't monitor for nearly enough chemicals in nearly enough places. So that's really frustrating, because I almost feel like we're already so far behind the researchers. You know, we could do so much more if we had more data, more resources, more infrastructure. You know, it's just not there. So we're always playing catch up. And I feel like that does a disservice to the residents.
Well, thanks for, you know, being my partner in this, and, you know, working so closely and so well with Nicole and the others, and just also honoring the fact that if it wasn't for the train derailment, I wouldn't even know you.
That's right. Yeah,
I mean,
weird.
It's strange, man.
Yeah, it was kind of, when we were there, I did think, like, man, this is like a weird full circle kind of thing.
You know, the sorrow in my heart is real, you know, and so a situation like East Palestine, healing, you know, I do think some healing occurred. Don't you think, over those couple of days up there? Just seeing community members in a room being able to share stories, like at the community meeting, that's healing. I mean, it was so hard to take in the heart, man. Just like, oh, I feel.
Yeah.
But it's real. You know, it's not something you're watching on, you know, a script from a movie, or, you know, it was real life. Mm-hmm. And I don't know what I'm trying to say with that, but
it was an intense couple days there, and I sort of saw it from two different perspectives. One was the train derailment and like seeing everything through that lens, but then the other was just like humans, right? And like, there's a lot of people out there who are suffering and have sad stories and bad things happening to them right now, you know, and it just makes you realize that, like, we have to be more compassionate to each other and realize, like, we're all in this together. Like, we are a big community, you know, and that might just mean your town. It might mean your county. It might mean your state. It might mean your country, whatever it is. But like, when you're listening to some of these stories, and like you're seeing these people get up there in front of an auditorium full of people with a microphone and tell these like really sad things that are happening to them
and their family and their children.
Yeah, it's like all of this other crap just kind of goes away.
And you're totally present in the moment,
Yeah,
right? Engaged and like,
Yeah, it's like, I don't care if he's a Trumper or a Democrat, or
No.
like, it doesn't matter. Like, all that is manufactured bullshit.
exactly.
And this is the thing that matters. Like, we are human beings and we should be there for each other.
It's not that complicated. It's pretty simple, really.
Mm-hmm.
Kindness and compassion. And I'm just going to remain positive that this is just the first piece, and the rest of it, what they deserve, justice, is in process and is on the way and shall arrive.
Amen.